Game on.
Hi, this is Greg from Greg's Game Room, and I'm watching Glen's Retro Show.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining me on this little episode of Glen's Retro Show. As you could see, I've received finally, after about 6 weeks, my third in the trinity of the Konami NEC PC Engine series. I've received the Choreograph, which out of all the three so far I've really been enjoying. That's this guy right here. Oop, a little too far close to my screen, there we go. And the reason this one's my favorite is because of the small form factor, but the controller does come with the turbo controllers. The PC engine should pretty much look exactly the same way. It has a couple other games on it that I probably won't get into because they're in Japanese, but the control is a little bit different. When the PC engine was originally released, it only came with a standard controller. There was no turbo buttons. And the TurboGrafx 16 is exactly the same as the Choreograph, just much bigger. So because of that reason alone, I probably won't play that one as much. And besides, I have a real TurboGrafx 16. I want to pull that one out. But since this one did come in the mail, finally, after about 6 weeks, it was held up in customs for a long time. So I'll just do a little unboxing and see what's different about it. And again, I'm not expecting too much. Again, it should be pretty much identical to the Choreograph, aside from a few other games that are on it. So in any case, here is the box itself. Let's take a look at it. It's nice. From what I understand, it's what the PC Engine box originally looked like back in the day. And the actually all three of these are probably only about 15% smaller than the originals. So it's almost, I wish they made them the real size, because as far as being a mini, they're not very mini. But again, the PC Engine and the Choreograph are already kind of small already. But the box does look pretty nice. And I will say that all the boxes were very well shipped from Japan. I got these from Amazon in Japan. And I'm going to show you the games in the back. Again, everything on here is going to be, I'm assuming, in Japanese. I'm not sure if it'll have an English menu option, but we'll take a look at that. So what I'm going to do is just take this off camera for a second, just to get the box open. So let's see how we're going to do this. Okay, we managed to get a flap open. There we go. And I will say that all of these were hard to get out of the box. I mean, they made it nice and small, but they seem to be pretty hard to get out of the box. Although, look at that. This one's coming right out, which was not the case for the other two. So I just made a faux pas right there. So it gets this thing out of the box. There we go. Ah! And I think we lost our instructions over there. And a small black and white manual, which is, it's fine. Just gives you the basic information and how to hook up the machine. So we're going to put this aside. It's not too much more information in there. And this is what we really want to see. So they don't include the power pack. They didn't do that in any of them. But to be honest, we probably all got 1,000 power packs from all our cell phones and everything else already. So the first thing we'll take a look at is actually the controller, which is going to be right here. And unlike the minis that came from Nintendo, these cords are about 8 feet long. So they give you a really good long cord. Oh, so it gets out of here. And this is the first time of me actually seeing a PC Engine controller. And you can see here, we got the directional pad, select and run button, are two buttons here, but there's no turbo button. So what I'm gonna do, give me one quick second. I'm gonna grab my other controllers just to give a quick comparison. So here is the Choreograph controller right here. Bring it right down in front. So you can see it's very similar to the PC Engine, just doesn't have the turbo buttons. Now you can buy an secondary controller, third controller for your PC Engine that do come with the turbo switches. But when the PC Engine was released, there were no turbo buttons on it. So I'm totally fine, unlike a lot of people have been complaining about that it didn't have the turbo buttons. That's not how the machine was released. But the Choreograph did come with the turbo buttons, so that's why that's on here. And of course we have the US version, the TurboGrafx 16. Now all the controllers, I have the most nostalgia obviously for the turbo pad, because that's what I had, but I do like the Choreograph one as well. So I'm going to put these aside for a second. Now another good thing about having all three machines is you can play 2 and 3 player games. Now, one thing I'll probably try, maybe in this video, maybe in the next video, maybe I'll do it in this video, is just using a regular USB hub and see if it lets you play like 3-player Bomberman. Because obviously they do sell a Turbo Tap, which looks the part, but I have a funny feeling a regular USB hub will work. So we'll try it probably in this video. So now that we got this little turbo pad out of the way here, move it aside, and right to the floor it went. Good thing it's a rug. Next thing I want to look at here, it just comes with a little USB power cable, no big deal. And it also comes with a HDMI cable at the bottom. I don't care too much about that. This is what I care about here, which is the little PC engine. So I'm gonna move this box out of the way. Here we go. And let's take a look at this. Now, here is the choreograph once again. We'll put that down right there. And let's take a look at the PC Engine Mini. Now, I've always wanted one of these back when I saw this in Electronic Gaming Monthly back in, I think, in '89. But this is the first time me actually seeing one, even though it's a little bit smaller. And look at that little baby. Oh, I love it. That's really, really nice. So here is the choreograph and then the PC Engine. See if I can get both in the same shot right here. Now, what's kind of neat, again, is they have the on-off switch here, and it does have the little lock that comes across for your Hue card, but of course there's no way to put a Hue card in there. And my same complaint I've had in all 3 that people think I'm crazy about is that they have the 2 USB ports right here. I still wish it was just the one to make it more accurate, because again, you can put a USB hub in there for your other controllers to make it, again, more authentic to the original. They do have all the text on here, antenna switch and channel selector. Of course, they're not really here. They do have the extension bus cover, which is, again, a nice touch, and that's the small things that we appreciate. So when you pop this off, there we go, get it on the bottom. There is your HDMI and your power. And on this side would have been your AC adapter. Of course, it's on the back now. Nothing there. So it looks really, really nice. Again, when you look at these 2, actually go side by side maybe. That's a little bit better. So this is how big the TurboGrafx 16 would be, roughly. 2 of these put together. But you know what? The PC Engine just looks nice. It's just white and like a mini Dreamcast, I guess. So I'm going to put the choreograph aside, and we're going to put this one down here. And I'm going to take this box out of the way. And I guess the next thing to do is to fire this up, and let's kind of see how it works. So the only things you need here is an HDMI cable and power, which I have over here somewhere. There we go. So I'm going to connect my HDMI cable, like so, and make sure this thing is off, and it is. And then my power cable back here. I'll put this down right there. And next thing I'm going to do is grab off the floor that fell my PC Engine controller without the turbo buttons, with our really, really, really long cord. There we go. Whoops. There we go. And for player 1, you have to go to the top port. So I'm going to plug it into that top port and switch it on. And let's see what happens. Okay, so we have our menu here, and like I'm looking at it, there is an English option, so I'm going to pick that, because obviously I'm not going to know anything else on here. So I'm going to press my button. And, you know, the menu is basically the same as you would have gotten with the choreograph or the TurboGrafx 16. The only difference, obviously, it looks like a PC Engine that's white up at the top. But still, it's a very nice menu. Now, I don't know if I go down here, and let's see if I could switch to a different system. I think it'll probably go over to the TurboGrafx 16. So again, we have our regular US release right here, all the games. And I'll go back and set it back to the PC Engine. And again, I'm not going to go through all of these games here. Mad Little Pixel and Restalgia have already gone through. I think even Patton Plays may have a video as well that have already done all these games. So I'm not going to do all that. What I'm going to do is take my other 2 controllers, connect it to this device, and see if 3 controllers work with a standard USB hub. So I'm going to shut this thing back off right now, like so. I'm going to grab a small USB hub, and we're going to try 3 controllers and see if a regular USB hub will work here. Let's find out. Okay, now the hub I have right here is actually probably overkill. It's a USB 3 hub, but I'm going to unplug this controller like so. I'm going to plug in this USB 3.0 hub like so. I'm going to put it into the player 1 port. I'm not sure if it's required to go into player 2 port, but there it is. And I'm going to plug in the PC engine into the first jack right here. And now I'm going to take my other 2 controllers that have extremely long cables, which I'm fortunate for right now, and I'm going to plug them into the other 2. So let's go one right here and one right here. Okay, so right now I have the PC engine right here. I have this USB hub right here with a whole bunch of cables sticking out of it. And let's turn it on. There we go. Move this a little further back so I keep everything in the camera shot if I can. There we go. Wait for it to turn on. So what I'm going to do now is go right into Bomberman. So let me find Bomberman 94. And actually right now, look at that. My controller does not work. Now there is a button on here to draw power. There's a little light that went on. I'm not sure if that'll make a difference. But right now my controller is not working. I'm going to try the other 2. Okay, none of the controllers work. Interesting. So maybe player 1 has to go in the top and the other games go in the bottom. So I'm going to shut this thing back off and we'll try out that theory. So I'm going to shut this thing down. So it looks like maybe, potentially, you're going to have to buy their adapter and not use a regular hub. But I'm going to unplug this and I'm going to take the PC Engine master controller, plug it into port 1. Turn this thing back on. So I still have the other controllers in the hub as hopefully player 2 and 3. Now if this doesn't work, it means you will have to buy the official Turbo Tap, which is very NEC-like. Everything you need, you got to buy from them. So if my controller works right now, and it does. So I'm going to go to Bomberman 94. Got to find it here on the list. Which is a very fun game. My son and I were playing a 2-player, but it'd be kind of nice to have a 3rd player in there. There we go, Bomberman 94. So I'm going to pick it. Love how it loads the game. There it goes. Alright, so I'm going to start it up right here. And we're going to do a battle mode. And I'm going to try and set it for 3 players. So let's do that. I'll pick, let's see, him right there. Now I'm not sure if these other controls are going to work. I'm picking them up right now. Have them in my hand. And they don't work. Interesting. So perhaps you could only do it with their Turbo Tap. Maybe there's an extra chip or it's looking for a specific chip. That's a little saddening. So I can still play 2 players. But now that I got a 3rd pad, I can't play 3 players without ordering their official Turbo Tap, unless one of the teams that's able to hack the device finds ways to get other type of hubs to work. That's a bummer. So this is just really a quick video. There's already been a lot of videos on this one already. If you do want to see more about it, leave a comment down below. I'll revisit it. I really just wanted to just take a look at it and see if a hub worked, and at least this one doesn't. So again, perhaps the teams who can hack the device can give a little more details on that. But I'm a little sad that didn't work. I was always hoping to play my son and my brother in a game of Bomberman, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. So that's it, guys. I didn't want to do a long video here. If you do want to see more about the PC Engine MIDI, leave a comment down below and I'll maybe revisit it. But I just really wanted to see that. Oh well, it was something worth trying, I guess. So thanks for watching, everyone, and remember, game on.
Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.